that down. Let's move on to this, shall we? In Filthy Sports' first NBA topic,
Ooh.
history was made the other night in the NBA. Now, in other sports, it has happened. For instance, in baseball, we have had a team where a father and son have played together. As we see the Griffey boys, the Griffin boy, right? See him there? Father and son. In hockey, Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe is the only professional athlete to play in his sport in 4 different decades.
How old was he there?
I don't know, 73.
I know, how is he?
In the old days, he'd be like 42, but he looked like that. So
Yeah, I think he's 38 there.
Yeah.
If, like,
this is back when NHL players didn't wear helmets.
Oh, God.
And like in his like last year or two, you see him because his hair was a little bit longer too. So you see his white hair flowing in the wind as he's skating around. But he played with his sons. But for the first time ever now in the NBA, a father and son have taken the court in a preseason game, but still an official NBA game, as LeBron and Bronny James got on the court at the same time in their preseason game. LeBron put out on his social media posts, he said, "Wow, that was surreal." The NBA then posted LeBron James, Bronny James, father and son duo share the court together. Here's a little shot of both of them on the court. It's the first time it's ever happened. Now, obviously, because of how young professional athletes tend to have to stop playing the game, it's very difficult to get a father and son duo.
And LeBron's played for 22 years now.
Yeah, LeBron's been around. I mean, he's about to turn 40, you know, all that kind of stuff. So his kid's in there. Now let's look at this from a couple different angles. From the NBA's point of view, this is a big win for the NBA, right? It's a big story.
Yep.
You got a father, you got the highest scoring player of all time. Some people believe the greatest player of all time in LeBron James, and his progeny is coming up. His son is going to play with them. It's a great story for the NBA. Yes. For the Lakers, it's a great marketing tool.
Yeah.
You know, you go in there, you draft LeBron's son, all they got to do now is reenact the opening to the Lion King and have LeBron pick him up and hold him up as they come out in the crypto arena.
I'm sure Bronny would love that. He'd really appreciate
would feel really good
lifted
about
up.
that. I mean, so it's a good move. Now, look, this brings up the whole question again about should the Lakers have even drafted him? Because the big argument going around was, look, if he wasn't LeBron James's son, would Bronny James have been drafted at number 55? No, I don't think there's anybody on the planet who's going to say yes. He got drafted because he's LeBron James's son. He's not a bad basketball player, don't get me wrong. But would he have gotten drafted 55? No. So a lot of people will say, well, you know, this was the argument I heard. They said, he's taken somebody else's spot, somebody else who deserved to get drafted at 55. But here's the thing. And I feel bad that I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel, but I remember shortly after the draft and Bronny got drafted, and there are all these people out there saying, he stole somebody else's spot. Somebody else should have been given that opportunity. I watched this YouTube video, and again, I feel terrible that I forget the name of the channel. Maybe some of you guys will know what it is. But they did a breakdown, a historical breakdown, looking at what percentage of people drafted number 55 or later actually ever went on to have a meaningful NBA career. And I think it was single digits. Like it was like basically nobody.
Yeah. And a lot of times teams will sell the pick for cash.
Yeah. Well,
it won't even, they're just like throw-ins or whatever.
It won't even mean anything. So basically what this YouTube channel's point was that, listen, if they didn't draft Bronny and somebody else got picked in the 55s, they weren't going to have a legitimate NBA career anyway. Mathematically speaking, it was highly unlikely they were going to have an NBA career anyway. So what did the LA Lakers do? They saw an opportunity to create some history, to create excitement amongst the fan base, because for good reasons or bad, this is creating a story. People are talking about this. People in LA are kind of excited to see LeBron and his son on this. Listen, and what did you have to do for it? A number 55 pick? It's like some people are complaining like they gave up a number 12 pick or something like that.
Yeah, if it was first round, there definitely would have been some.
Oh, yeah.
But that would never happen.
It never would have happened. This was so far down the line. Anyway, as somebody who's been following the Lakers basically your whole life.
Full disclosure, Laker fan. So everyone can hate me, whatever. That's fine.
How do you feel about, number one, how did you feel about Bronny's getting drafted to LA? And how do you feel about now seeing history getting made of the first time a father and son are on the court?
Well, for a long time, there was the whole story of who's going to draft him so LeBron will go to their team. Because they were like, whoever can get a play. And then unfortunately, Bronny had health issues. He was highly recruited out of high school. He can never live up to the hype of being LeBron's son. That's just the fact. I mean, he has defensive skills. He can play, but I think for me, he probably should have stayed in college another year, but he was able to come out. It definitely is a nepotism.
And don't forget, he had that heart issue that scared everybody.
Yeah. So definitely he's LeBron's son. So he got, picked by the Lakers, but he's not the only case. Giannis has his brothers on his team.
Yeah, nobody complains about that, right?
So other teams have sons or family in the front office, so it's around. It's not an excuse, but I'm like, it's not the first time this has happened, and it's a good story. And the Lakers are a family business basically, so they're always going to kind of do these things, and they do cater to their superstars. With Kobe, they gave him a contract when he was injured to keep him happy, basically, and show loyalty. And this is kind of the same thing with LeBron. If LeBron never came to the Lakers, we would be the worst team in the league. No joke. Like, Davis wouldn't have come here. We wouldn't have got a title in 2020. Like, he basically bailed us out. We gave a lot of picks for Davis, but he basically saved the Lakers franchise. So I think this is them doing him a solid. He's still here. I think he's still good. He's 40 years old. No other player has played this long and puts up these numbers. So he was just in the Olympics. So, I don't know. I think they did it as a favor to him, but I do think they're interested in what he can do. He's a good defensive guard. At least he has the makings of it. I think he probably will need to spend some time. Not probably. He does need to spend some time in the G League. I think once the preseason's done, most of the season's going to be in the G League, and probably towards the end of the year, if there's injuries, he'll probably come up and be on the bench. I don't think he's going to get much time unless there's a blowout.
He probably won't get much. So, I mean, that's ultimately the end of it, right? Because that's my argument with a lot of people is this: the Lakers got Bronny. Ultimately, what's the downside? You think they were going to get a different pick at number 55 that was going to be a game changer? Never happens. And then I hear somebody say, well, he's taking up a roster spot. Do you know how many guys I saw in the Lakers? Like, I went to about 12 Laker games last year. There was at least 2 guys that I saw on the Laker bench every single game that never got off the bench. So he's not really taking up anything important.
No, and like Reeves, I think he didn't even get drafted. So there's players that are good. It just, everyone's making a big deal out of it. I don't see the downside really.
Yeah, I mean, it is what I mean, and I think you're right. I think if some other team had gotten Bronny, I think LeBron would have looked at leaving. Yeah. And then what do the Lakers have?
Don't put me in that spot, John. I'm trying not to think about that. Davis would ask for his trade, and then that's
all right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, whatever team you're a fan of in the NBA, you got to admit, it's a nice story that for the first time ever in the NBA, you got a father and son playing on the court together. Probably not going to happen a lot in the regular season, but who knows? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts.